what accounts for sort of the difference between, as you said, the first 2 months where people just really didn't know, right? And you're not spending money on marketing, right?
Zero marketing,
you can't
like
expect,
not a rupee.
To eventually getting to the point that you're remembering, right? Which is, also a real memory, right? It's a real thing that happened, but it's just maybe it happened a little bit later on. How did that journey play out? How did that happen?
So in June, on June 16th, we opened on April 25th. On June 16th, I think it was July 16th, there was a fire in the restaurant that burnt the whole restaurant down. Yeah. So it basically was a stabilizer that basically sparked in the middle of the night. There was probably a plastic, bench or something, maybe a little bit away from it, but the plastic bench caught fire. And at 6 in the morning...
It caught the RO.
Ultimately, a ton of stuff burned down. And this happened 2.5 months after we opened. And by this time, we had no traction. The numbers were still even in terms of the number of people we were serving a month would have been 500 to 600 customers a month. I'm talking about the whole month. So
which is what some restaurants do in a day, right?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. So, and then again, now speaking from my perspective, this did turn into a source of stress, stress meaning you're sort of wondering, we made this investment, what have we done? Was this the right thing to do?
Because everyone told you to open a restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
And you love the food. Everyone loves the food. And you're thinking, this is the next natural step. But then you open it up and it's well, you're in a crowded market, right? There's a lot of restaurants in Indranagar. You're competing.
So there were two events that, were larger than, when you look back, it's maybe the universe at play or whatever, right? One was this fire, which at 6 in the morning, one of my employees showed up at our door and rang the bell covered in suit. And he's I've just come from the restaurant. Everything is burnt down. Immediately I went, and I think they came her and Amit came maybe half an hour or 1 hour later. And it was the most... you felt the mood was basically how you when someone dies, it felt exactly like that. That was the exact atmosphere that was in the air. How you feel at a funeral, it was exactly like that. But the whole team scrambled. We only had 6 or 7 employees at that time. The whole team came together you couldn't imagine. They literally, this person who was also our first employee who showed up at our door, he scrambled all the troops. Everybody came, including us, sitting there and scrubbing soot off everything. Whatever we couldn't salvage, we had to throw. Our contractor who had done the restaurant came in, and he was also just unbelievable that he did this. He came in free of cost and said that, I'm not, this should never have happened. It wasn't his fault. Just clarifying that. It was just a stabilizer that malfunctioned, right? It had nothing to do with him. But he took responsibility to kind of repaint the restaurant, have his staff work. In 48 hours, they rebuilt the whole restaurant for us.
What?
And we got new fridges in, we got everything in, and we had a new restaurant again in 48 hours, right? And that, at least for me, was my saying that, hey, this is not a source of something that should be causing you anguish. This is a rebirth that we've had. Let's fresh approach, newborn, let's see what we can do from here, It was a completely new, as if we've been presented with a new restaurant. It also makes you realize what you actually lost. Because you're looking at things from the perspective of, what do I not have? Oh, I don't have customers. I don't have this. Suddenly, we started to appreciate what we did have. And then post that, it was okay, I have this beautiful restaurant. Now let me see what I can do with it. The whole approach changed from what was lacking to what we have. You started to feel appreciation for what you actually had, right? So one more thing that happened was there was some blog, which literally I've never even heard of till today. I can't even remember the name. But they published a list of the hottest new 6 or 7 restaurants in Bangalore. And Fatty Bao was on that list. Chinita was on that list. And that blog went viral. I think it was called Polka something. It was just a blog that someone wrote, literally. And it was a blog that wasn't well known. It's not okay, Time Out wrote it or, whoever. It was just some arbitrary blog that I had never heard of before. Published this list. From there, this post went viral. Everyone in Bangalore had read it. And suddenly, that was our push to start, our word of mouth was taken care of. Our marketing was taken care of because of that article. From there, the sales just literally went it was 1 month here, next month 30% higher, 25% higher, 30% higher, 20% higher. And this went on for about maybe 12 months after that. Literally, we were seeing that kind of growth, 30% a month.
How much of it do you think was that blog? Was it just people reading the blog and just being I gotta check this place out?
It put us on everybody's radar.
Wow.
And I don't know how it happened. It was just looking back, it was because it was obscure and it went viral for whatever reason, and we were on that list as one of the hottest new places to check out in Bangalore. So this fire and that blog basically helped to push the restaurant along. Then they got to experience what we actually had, and that was what we knew we had. We had impeccable service run by us. The kitchen was being monitored by her. The experience that customers got when they got our whole thing for the first like few years was that when customers come here, they need to say, wow. Like literally they need to be walking out of this place saying that, wow, that was incredible.
Well, that was the experience for me because you guys have, and this is actually something I realized later on, that ingredients are made fresh. Like it's all handmade, right? It's like completely authentic food. And it's not like, not to bash Tex-Mex, but like it's not sort of an Americanized version of Mexican food. It's actually authentic Mexican food, which I think is where you come in, right? Like this is actually something that you were really passionate about.
Yeah. So when we decided to use Chinita as the name, and it's so obscure, no one's gonna understand what the heck it was. So we had to kind of call it something else. We needed like a tagline, and so the tagline was "Real Mexican Food."
Yeah.
And because we didn't want to be associated with Tex-Mex, because we are not Tex-Mex, we are Mexican food, like food that, like Mexican food that you would eat if you go to Mexico or to California or Texas.
But it's a difficult thing to do because I think there's a lot of education that needs to happen, right? Especially with sort of the Taco Bells of the world, sort of dominating the space and making people think, oh, that's what Mexican food is, right? Yeah. And then they come to Chinita expecting the same thing, but just like maybe a better version, like a gourmet version of Taco Bell. Yeah. And they sit down and they're like, wait, I don't know what any of these things are on the menu, right? Yeah. So how did you guys go about actually educating your customers?
Well, we spoke a lot. Like when he said that we spoke to every customer who came in, we spoke to every customer who came in.
Not just spoke to customers, we were the ones taking their orders.
Yeah,
we were the waiters taking orders, like for everybody.
Servers, yes. So we would sit them. So when I was in maybe the first 2 or 3 years after post-college, I was working in New York. I was always with like tech startups. So in between jobs or whatever, I used to work in restaurants. So as a waitress. So that's where I picked up a lot of like these soft skills, and and I would know what makes people happy. I know what to say and how to upsell, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. And so when customers come in, and this is how I train the servers till date. And we have now 3 locations. They have a script. They have to, instead of saying like "Good morning, ma'am" or "Good morning, sir," they have to say "Welcome to Chinita," because that works. And it's simple, and it's like genderless. It's you can say it in the morning, in the evening, whenever, right? So those kind of things. So during that first couple of years, when we were trying to educate customers, we would make sure that they're comfortable. They sit down, and then we would talk to them. We'll try to gauge them and see what kind of food they would like. Are they like the roti type of person, or they like rice person? Like how hungry are you, or like do you like spicy, not spicy, and how adventurous are you with food? And then we started using words like what's the word? I can't remember. So there's a few things that people will ask, like, what's your specialty? What's your special for the day, right? Yeah. And we don't have any special for the day, but we have a lot of very popular items today, which we didn't know back then. But like, say for example, horchata is one. Horchata is basically made out of rice. It's rice milk, but there's no milk in it. So a lot of people get confused. And now it's more popular that people was like, oh yeah, okay, we get vegan milk. But back then, 9 years ago, right, there was no non-dairy milk. So to say like this is rice milk and also has almond milk in it, it's very hard for people to understand. So there's a lot of explanation that has to happen, plant-based, or like and then people will say like I want a taco, but why is your taco not U-shaped?
Yeah.
And why is it not crispy? Yeah, why is it not crispy? So then again, it's like this is how you eat. How tacos are meant to be eaten, and then this is corn tortillas. It's supposed to be soft, and like if you want crispy tortillas, we have it in a tostada style. So there's a lot of explanation, and you just have to be. We were very patient, and I love that. I love to educate people as long as they understand and they experience it. Like they were open to the experience of eating something the way it's meant to be eaten, and enjoyed it. I think our job was done.